This video is part of a playlist where we build this, a Spotify web controller. We can play, pause a Spotify player, we can go to the next and previous track, and all of this built as a ReactJS Chrome extension. If you have no idea what this is, look in the description for details. Alright, so before we start on the meat of this video, I made some errors. I missed a line of code in the last video, and I screwed up 2 lines in terms of their logic in the last video. So we're going to fix that first, and then we're going to start merging these the background and the foreground. So I forgot to send a success response when the user logs in. So they log in here, set timeout for the refresh, right here. So we're just going to let me copy this one here. Copy this, paste this, and we're just going to send a success response. And then in terms, or for the logic error I made, for the, where is it? Here, current. So if we get a 200, there's going to be a JSON response for the song they're currently playing. If there's a 204, there's no song, but there's no JSON. So this results in an error. So we need to check this. We'll just do a res.status. So we say if the res.status is equal to 200, then we know there's a song in JSON format. So we can just send back the parsed JSON. If not, we'll send back an empty object. And now this line right here. If there's a JSON object, there's an item. If there's no JSON object, there's no res.item. So we need to check before we try to access res.item. So we're just going to say res.item exists and send back the artist dash name of the song. If not, just send back an empty string. So that's good for the fix-ups. All right, let's start merging. So let me close this. I'm just going to copy and paste. So this is the foreground or the whole app. This is just the Chrome extension part. We're just going to copy and override the background script. So copy this, paste that in here, replace, yeah. There we go, close. Let's open up back Visual Studio. Let's get to doing this. Later, let's do Control KO, doesn't work. It's an open folder. And Spotify controller. Later. All right, so let's start by first injecting, because in the previous videos, we're working with this extension or this app through a ReactJS server. We want to now start working with it through the browser. So we have to build it into an actual Chrome extension. And in order to do that, we need to inject it into the tab, the user's viewing. So let's go to source, go to background. And so we're going to do 2 listeners, and then we'll do the, we have to change the image path names, and I'll tell you why when we get it to it. So let me do this. Let's keep track of the active tab ID the user's on. We'll say null. And we need 2 listeners. So chrome.tabs, is it tabs? Yeah. .onUpdated.add listener. Let me scroll up a bit. We get what do we get? Tab ID. We get change info. We get the information about the actual tab. So we'll do our checks. So if the change info.status is equal to complete, so the page is fully loaded, and the tab.id, tab.url that includes the string HTTP, 2 T's. Then we're going to inject. So Chrome, actually first we'll save the active tab ID is equal to tab ID, and then we'll inject. So chrome.tabs. Execute script, where the tab ID, what, a file, and the first file is going to be the ./inject_script.js, callback function. What do we want to do afterwards? We want to inject the foreground bundle now. So let's do this. Tab ID, and this guy should be foreground.bundle.js. That's the actual ReactJS code. And if successful, we'll just print out a console.log. Say injected and executed. Looks good. Let's write our second listener. So chrome.tabs.onActivated.add listener. And for this one, we get an active info object. And in that active info object, there's the tab ID. So we're going to say chrome.tabs. Let me scroll up again. Chrome.tabs.get. And we want the active info.tab ID. That gives us a function callback with the information about the tab. And then we'll do the same thing. We're going to do a check. So if that tab.url that includes the HTTP protocol, HTTP, then we'll keep track of the active info active tab ID is equal to active info dot tab underscore ID. All right, let's go. Let me double check this. Chrome tabs on updated add. There we go. No, dyslexia. Wait, there we go. Add listener, tab ID, change info tab, change info status, complete. URL includes HTTP. Keep track of what tab the user's on. Inject foreground. On activated, add listener, active info, tab ID, tab, active tab ID. All right, so let's change the image path names. So deck uses images, foreground uses images, and loading page uses images. And the reason we have to do this is because right now this image has a path like this, images/decks/ and then the image name. When we inject this whole ReactJS app into their browser, let's do this. Let me copy this. We go here. Let's say we're on the Google's homepage. It's going to look for an image, this image right here, and this directory on Google's servers. Google has no idea this exists. And so we need to call a function that rewrites this image path to something like this. https:// the extension ID .chromium app.org, and then we get the /images/decks. So let's go into the code and do that. Let me delete this. Yank, paste, and this guy's going to just be chrome.runtime.get URL of the image path. That's simple. So save that, close that. Let's go to the loading page. I'm going to take this out of the HTML element. Let's do this. Let's do a const, and it's going to be, what should I call it? Loading screen. GIF is equal to, let me do a cut paste here. Cut, paste. Forgot the quotes. There we go. Delete that one quote. Let's do a yank, paste, space, comment out, and this is just going to be a chrome.runtime.get URL of that image path, and we'll just replace this guy here. It's going to be the loading screen GIF. Save that. And in our foreground, where do we use the images? Right here. So what should I do? Yeah, I'll just copy paste. All right, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, and copy, paste. I'll just fast forward to this part. All right, so let's see if this works. Let's build this out. Let's go to the Webpack config. Webpack config. I'm just going to comment out some lines of code. If you don't know what I'm doing, I did a video on how to merge these two. You don't need to do this. It just keeps the file directory clean. So let's do an npm run build and production. All right, so let's open up the browser. Let's load the extension. Desktop, Spotify controller, dist, right there. Select that folder. Good, no errors. Let me pin that to the start menu. So pin. Let's go to any website. Let's just go to Google. All right, perfect. And it started open. Let's change that. I don't want that. Let's close. We don't need to close that. Just gonna be using it over and over again. Let's go up here. Start closed is closed right here. True. And then we're just going to start building out or merging these two things. What I need to do, let's rebuild the extension. All right, let's go back. Let's close this, do a refresh. Google.com. There we go. Let's click. Does it work? Does it work? Perfect. Does it work? Does it work? Perfect. Pause. All right, let's go function by function. Actually, not yet. Let's write two functions in the back end, a get state and a save or set state functions. So let's go. We don't need the foreground. We can close. Close this for now. I need some space. Let's go to the background.js. And where should we write these guys? This is what is this? That is a variable. That is a function. We'll do right here. So we'll do a function. We'll do the get state first. Yeah, we'll do get state first. get state, and then we'll do a set state. Scroll up just a bit. Set state. All right, so we're going to be saving the state as JSON strings. So it's going to come in as an JavaScript object notation JSON. Just convert it to a string. For this get, we're just going to do something like, should we make it? Yeah, we'll make it asynchronous. So return new promise. We get the resolve object, reject object. And then we're just going to make a call to the local storage. So Chrome, let's just check if I have those permissions. Manifest. Storage. Did I do storage? Yeah, I did. Perfect. Chrome.storage.local.get. And we're going to save it in a key called, what should we call it? Chrome extension. We'll do Spotify controller. Yeah, it looks good. And it's going to give us back an item array. So do this. If there's any sort of error, we're just going to have if chrome.runtime.last error. Then we're just going to reject with a fail. Else, we got some sort of item back. Now, the item may be a JSON string full of stuff like that. Well, it's an array. The item also might be nothing like that. So we need to code for those two possibilities. And so let's do this. Let state, actually doesn't mean to be let, so const. Let's call it the state is equal to, and what are we going to do? Let's check to see if it even exists. So in the item, if it exists, it's going to exist under the key, the index, Chrome extension, Spotify controller. So if that exists, then we're going to give back that item. So item Chrome extension, Spotify controller. And if it doesn't exist, then we're just going to give back an empty JSON string, not this, or JSON object, not this, but this. And then we're just going to resolve with the JSON.parse, parse of that state. There you go. Item, Chrome extension, Spotify, OTIFI, controller, item. All right, looks good. Let's write the set state. So anytime, so we're going to have a parameter or an argument here that takes in something they want to kind of update the state with. So every time we set the state, we want to get the old state first and then update the state. So we can just call the function we just wrote, and it is a promise, so we can do this, dot then, and if there's an error, we'll have a catch, error. Actually, we don't need this because we want to handle the catches down in our tree down here. So I'm not going to handle the catch here. We'll just do this. It's going to have a res, and this needs to be a promise as well. So return a new promise, get the resolve, we get the reject. Okay, there you go. So we have the old state. We now need to get or set the new state. So we'll just do this const, actually not do const. Const, yeah, we'll do this const. Updated underscore state is equal to an object. So give me all of the old state, and we're going to enter anything the user gives us as the updated state. And so let's set the state here. Chrome.storage.local.set, and it's a key value pair. So what is the key? The key is going to be that Chrome extension stuff. Chrome extension Spotify controller. And the object, or the value, excuse me, is just going to be json.stringify that updated state. Nope, like, there we go. We get a function callback. How do I handle this? I just did an arrow function here. Let's keep it consistent. There we go. We'll just check for errors. So if there's an error setting that, there's going to be a chrome.runtime.last error. If that's the case, we reject with a fail. Else, we resolve with a success. Resolve with a success. There we go. So return new promise, format that. Return new promise, resolve, reject, get the state first, the old state. That's the old state. We create a new object with the old state plus the updated state the user passes in, and then we actually save it to the hard drive. If there's an error, reject fail. If there's no error, we resolve with a success. All right, so we have our get and our set states. Let's start going one by one through the functionality of our app and communicating with the background tree. So let me go down here. So if log in, log out. Let's go to the foreground and we'll just start right to left. So the rightmost button is the open close player. So right here, we're just going to do a chrome.runtime.send message. And the message we're going to send is open_close to the back end. And the payload is going to be, what's it going to be? It's going to be the opposite of this .set state. So if we're trying to save the player's new open close state is closed. So it's just going to be the opposite. So this .state.is closed. So if it's true, make it false. If it's false, make it true. That's the payload. So we send that. We get a function with a response. Let's do the formatting. Let's bring this guy in here. And we're just going to say if the response.message is equal to success, then we tell the player, hey, you're allowed to flip the actual state, and which animates the transitions the player. So send a message, open close, payload, the opposite of the state is closed, function response success. All right, let's go to the back end and code for this this message, open_closed. So if, what is it, request.message is equal to, and it was open_close, we'll do something. So what are we going to do? Let's do a return true first. All we're going to do is set the state, set_state to request.payload. That's a promise, so we get a .then. Response is going to be success. So if there's a good response, we'll just do a send responsive message, success, with handle. Is that 1C or 3Cs? That's 3Cs. If there's no, if there's some sort of error, there's a catch. We'll handle the catches here. And we'll just do a send response here. Of message of fail. And that should have another, there we go. So just set the state, just space here. Set the state to the new state, so it's going to set the is closed to true or false, depending on what it is. Then we get, if it's successful, we'll get a res.success here. We don't really care about the actual success. We just care that it's not an error. So success, and then fail. And so let's test this out. So let's just overlook the, double check the code. Chrome runtime send message, open close payload to true. Set state expects an object. Yeah, that's off. So set state expects an object, so it can stringify it. We're just sending a true or false. We actually have to do this. So is closed is equal to true or false. So the property or the option we want to override is the is closed property. There we go. And then set state. And so let's try it in the browser. And that won't work as well because we need to sign in and we haven't built that functionality. So we're gonna hard code the access token. So access token is equal to, and to get an access token, we're just gonna go to the Spotify web API. So down here, just give me any one of these. Just go to try in our web console. We'll go down to get token. We want we want this one here, and we want to modify this one right here. So request token, we're going to do in Control A, C, close, Control V here, save, and let's build this and see if it works. Run build prod. Okay, let's go to the browser, refresh, let's go here, google.com. We're testing the open and close button to see if it'll save in the back end and then give us a measured success so we can actually see it animate. Or transition, we click, and what's going on? Click, click. This dot set state is not a function. Let me close this. That was in the foreground. Let me close that. Where are we? This dot, let me close this as well. This dot set state is not a function. How does it not know it's a function? Function becomes open, close, payload. That we fixed that. That's an object. Function. Oh, okay. So this is an asynchronous call. It's an asynchronous function. So it's basically set it and then it goes off into the background and just waits. Because we have a function as a callback, when this guy's instantiated, it has no idea about the state of the rest of the app. So this guy needs to be an arrow function. And what an arrow function does is it just binds the function call, this guy here, to the rest of the app. So it knows what this dot set state is. So let's do this. That should be the solution. Response, save, let's rebuild, and try this one more time. Okay, so let's go back to the browser, refresh, we'll do google.com, press, come on, there we go. All right, so let's do the start or the play pause button, the next, the previous, and then the home stretch of this entire series. Let me close this. Let's do, close that. Let's just copy and paste code here. So copy these two lines, paste them here. Copy these two lines, paste them down here. We'll do a format. And the message we're looking to send is a play or a pause depending on this .state.is playing. So if it's currently playing, we want to pause it. So pause, else we want to play. And the payload is not going to be is close, it's is playing. And we're just going to do the reverse of is playing. Response, still success. Response is success. And that's what I forgot. So when we start or play or pause the track, the player, we want to get back which track we played, we started on, or we paused on. So in the response, there's going to be a message and there's going to be a payload. That's the current track. We're going to write that logic in the back end right away before I forget. Let's do a current track, and it's going to be in response.current track. So before we code this this tree, this branch, let's go fix this current track. So start pause. So start pause is going to have, so start pause doesn't return the current track, but get current does. Right up here. Yeah, so it returns the thing. So we can call this, and we're going to need to know, yeah, so right now we're just returning a string. We want to return this current track. There we go. Return an object with the current track, res item, blah, blah, blah. And that gives me an idea, but I remember something for later on. Later on when we, in the component will mount, as soon as the component renders, it's going to ping the backend to get the initial state or the save state from the local hard drive and the current. So we need another thing called is playing here. So within the within this information, this JSON, it tells you, Spotify tells you whether or not that track's playing or paused. So we need the res.is playing. So if we load up the player while they have their track playing, our player is going to know it's playing, and it's going to switch immediately to the play GIF. So that should, current track is playing, res is playing. That's good. All right, so let's code up these two conditionals. So what do I call them? I said start, I said play, and then pause. So let's go down here, and we'll do an else right here. And the reason I'm doing it like this, where it's if, then else, and then if in here, instead of just an else if here, is later on when we code for the signing in properties, we're going to make an if else statement. So there's going to be an else if here, and then there's going to be an else here, and then the rest of our branch down here. But just to keep things consistent for now, we'll code it like this, else, and we'll delete these guys here. There we go. So if the request.message is equal to, and I said play, not start, we'll do something, and in here else if the request.message is equal to pause, we'll do something. Pause, we'll do something here. All right, so initially what we want to do is we want to tell Spotify to start playing the track We'll do .then. We're going to save the actual state, so we've influenced their player. Now we can save it on the local hard drive. So we're just going to do set_state of, and that was the request.payload. Now if that's successful, do another .then. We want to get the current song being played, which is in the res. And then we're going to send a response. Success, so message of CSS. And the payload was going to be, did I say payload? I said response.currentTrack. So send response as a message, and payload shouldn't be payload. We'll just do current track. It's going to be the res.currentTrack. Current track, response.currentTrack. Perfect. Let me save this. And if all of this fails, we'll do a catch error. We'll do a send response of fail. Of message of fail. There we go. And it reminds me, return true, because all this stuff is asynchronous. So when you play, we set the state of the is playing, we get the current track being played, and we send the response of success back to our player, so it can start spinning the track, and we give the new track, which will show on the ticker. So this logic is the same for the pause. So let me do that quickly here as well. Copy, paste, delete that. We want to pause, and we set the current state of is playing to false. We get the current track paused on, message success, res.currentTrack, res.current response.currentTrack. All right, let's test that out. So I got the access token, right? I forgot that already. Yeah, I did. All right, let's open up Spotify and see if this works. Spotify.com. Let's launch the web player. Let's go to the 80s here. Let's go Tina Turner. Pause, or it's way too loud. All right, so it's playing right now. Let's do a google.com. Let's go open this. Actually, I can just do it right here, right? Open this. Artist song. And it's not overriding the oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't actually refresh the extension. Oops. Let's do this. Errors, clear them. All right, let's go to Spotify. Spotify, open web player. Let's go with 80s. Let's go Tina Turner. Mute that. Let's do this. And it's still not getting the song. Why is that? Declared. Let me see this. Play, pause, foreground, start, pause, set state, current track. Should be response. Let's see what response we're getting. So console.log. The response. Oh, you know what I didn't do? Why would I refresh the extension if I didn't rebuild the extension? There we go. All right, so let's test it out here. Refresh, let's go to Spotify. Open web player. All right, go to 80s. Mute the song. Play the song. It's playing, it's playing. Let's do this. Pause. So it's playing right now. Pause it. Let's go to, I don't know, let's go Summer 69. So it doesn't know if it's playing right now because we didn't build the component will mount to get the current state of the player. Let's see if it just changes the song. There we go. It's paused, or it's playing, excuse me. Paused, there we go. Let's see if it plays. Plays, there we go. All right, so let's move on to the next track and the previous track stuff. So do this. Start, pause, next track. What message should we send? Next track? Yeah, let's do this. Copy, so it's the same logic. We're gonna get the track being played. Yank paste. There we go. And the message we want to send is next track. Do next underscore track. The payload is, I don't think we need a payload for this. So let me delete the payload like this. We just need the response, and the response is going to have a current track as well. We'll add that guy here. Current track is equal to response.current track, and the logic is going to be the exact same for the previous. Let me just copy these guys. Yank that, paste that, yank these two lines there, paste these two lines there, and add the current track here. Current track is equal to response.current track. All right, let's go to the back end and code for, let me change that as well. Let's see, previous track. Let's go to the back end and code for these two routes. Next track and prev track. Right down here. Else if request.message is equal to next track. Do something. I'll just write this and I'll copy paste it. So we're going to do a player.next. There we go. So it switches to the next track. We need to know which track that is so we can save it in the state. So we'll do a player.current like that. Response. We'll set the state to an object where the current track is equal to res.currentTrack. So we can save it on the hard drive after we're done that. And that shouldn't be player, excuse me. That should be .then. Delete this, CW. There we go. And so I need to modify like this. Player, we don't need to set the state right here. We need to get the player.current from this guy. Player.current format. There we go. Let me scroll up. All right, so we have the current song. Then we save it. Res set state to current track of response.current track. All right, now we need to send back the current track to the user, which means we need to do this again. You could probably do this more efficiently, but this is how we wrote it, so we'll use it like this. So next track, get the track we're on, set that in the state on the local hard drive, get that track, and we're going to send this. So let me just do these two. We send back the current track to the user and a message of success, and we code for the fail, and of course we return true to keep the message line open. And that's the exact same logic for the previous track. Request.message is equal to previous underscore track. Copy all of this. We'll paste that here, and we'll just call I called it prev, good. Save, let's load, or excuse me, build, load, and then see if this thing works. All right, let's go to the browser, clear this, go back here, refresh. Let's go to the Spotify. Nope, Spotify, there we go. Am I still logged in? Perfect, open web player. Let's do a mute of the sound, all 80s. Let's go to Valerie. All right, just so we're in sync with it, let's do this. All right, Valerie will pause. And when I click next, we should get the Summer of 69. Bryan Adams, Summer of 69, and it's playing. Let's go Don't You Want Me, The Human League, next. Good, let's go previous, Summer of 69. Summer of 69, let's try pausing, see if it still works. Good, let's close. Let's open. Let's play. Let's close. Let's see if it's still scrolling, still playing. Perfect, let's close. And let's hit next, so Don't You Want Me. So it should change. So that changed, still playing. The Don't You Want Me should be the current song. Remaster, what is a remaster? The Human League, Don't You, yeah, it's perfect. Pause. All right, so those are the buttons. 1, 2, 3, 4 buttons. Let's do this. Let's code for the component will mount. So as soon as this thing renders, if the users, if they're playing a song, this thing will detect if they're playing a song, and it'll already start the play GIF as well as the scrolling of the ticker. So where am I? Let's go close. clear. Let's go back here. And component will mount should be in the foreground. Let me close this. And component did mount, component will mount. So component will mount. There you go. So what are we going to do? Let's send a message to the back end to get the initial state. So we'll do a chrome.runtime.send a message, and message, keep it simple, we'll say get state, get underscore state, and it should give us a response. Let me just do arrow functions because we screwed up last time, so just to be safe. Response, if the response.message is equal to success, what we're going to do is this.set state to ... and we just want to spread the state through our local app, so response.payload. All right, let's go into the back end and code for this this get state message. So navigate over here. We'll do an else if the request.message is equal to get underscore state. Two things. So we get the state with that function, get state. That gives us back the saved state on the local hard drive. We'll do .then, so we have the local state. But we also need the current song being played, because get state doesn't get the current song. It doesn't reach out past the local hard drive. So we need to do a player.current. There we go. This will be another .then. And we'll just call this guy the current. All right, so we have the current track. We have the old state. We'll do a send response where the message is success. Let me scroll up. Message, scroll up, there we go. Message is equal to success. And the payload is going to be equal to an object of the old state on the hard drive plus the current track. And the current track comes back as an object. So we should probably do this. Current track of, yeah, right? Comes back as an object, right? Yeah, current track. Oh, but it has the is playing, so we need that as well. So we'll just destructure that as well. Current, there we go. All right, if .then, and if there's any problem in this, it'll show up here. Why am I writing that when I can just copy paste? So copy and paste, send response, message fail. Let's do some proper semicolons. All right, so get state. We got the old state in the hard drive. Get the current track being played. We got that there. Send back a message of success, and the payload is the old state in the hard drive plus the current track being played if it's being played, and whether or not it's being played. So is playing is true or false. Go back to the foreground, and we just spread that out through our state. All right, let's test to see if this one works. Let me go here right now. Let me start a song to see if we have it detected. So open web player, something went wrong. Open web player, something went right. Okay, let's refresh the extension. Let me start up a song. Let's go with Faith, George Michael. So playing Faith, George Michael, play, is it playing? Let me go here. All right, let's open up a new browser window. Let's go to google.com, and it should be Faith, George Michael here. And it is not. Why is that? Did it build properly? It did. Get state. Request.message is equal to get state, get state, get state. Let's see if this thing is giving us back the message. Console.log of the response. Save. Rebuild. Let's go here, close this. All right, go back here, refresh the extension. Give me the page here so I can see if it gives us back the message. Google.com. The message port closed. Oh, I forgot to return true. Return, yes I did. Let's return true here. Save, rebuild. Let me close this. All right, go back. Let's do refresh here. Give me the window console. I don't even have the console.log, so we don't need this. Let's go to google.com. Actually, is the song still playing? Yeah, Addicted to Love, Palmer. Google.com. There we go, Addicted to Love and Palmer. There we go. Pause. Is it paused? It's paused. Next. Faith Remastered. Faith Remastered. Where is it? What song is it? Faith Remastered. Yeah, okay. Good. So that seems to work. Let's close that. Close that. No, not that. Errors, errors, errors. Extension, context, function. Invalidated. I think it was an old version. All right. So it's taking the state as soon as it updates. That's good. I did have the console log response, excuse me. So let's move on to the options page now. So let me close this. And the options is different from the foreground. So let's do this. Let's do this. And this options has no idea all of these functions exist. So let me copy all of this logic and then paste it into the options page. It is all the messages. All right. So when we load the track, when we load a new deck, before we load it into the options app, we want to send a message to the background to save the new deck. And then we want to send a message to the background to send a message to our foreground app to update the deck. That's going to be, 3 messages? Let's do it here. Let's start. All right. Chrome.runtime.send message. That message will be, let's say set state. Set state generic. The state we want to set is a payload of, what do we want to do? It's going to be the current deck is equal to deck names. So deck names and next deck. We get a response. Let me spell that right. R-E-S-P, missing an S there. So we get a response. If the response is success, so a response.message is success. You want to send another message to the back end. So chrome.runtime.send message. This one's a bit different, and then that we want a from the options page. And the message is going to be, we'll say update current deck. The payload is just going to be the, and why is this glitching out? We don't need this here. There we go. We need that here. The payload is just going to be the deck names of next deck. And we get a response again. And we'll say if the response.message is equal to success, S-U-C-C-E-S-S. Let me scroll up, can't see. Is equal to success. Then we'll set the state of the options page as current deck and the load to true to trigger the animation to scroll the next deck in. Let me do some proper semicolon work. So send a message to the back end, set state. Payload is going to be the current deck. So change the current deck, deck names, next deck, response, success, send a message to the background again from the options page. Update current deck. Payload is going to be the deck. If we get a success, then we can change the deck on the option side. Let me copy this logic, paste it in the foreground. Here, let's go down here. We can delete all this. We can do Control V. All right, let's go to the back end and code for this set state as well as the other one. So right here. Else if the request.message is equal to set state. Don't forget to return a true this time. All we're going to do is call the set state function and add the request.payload, which is already an object. We'll do .then, which is a successful. And we'll just do send response of success. What do we do? Message SUCCESS. And if it's a fail, we do a fail. So let me copy paste that. So set state, message success, fail. If it's a success, we get here. And we need to code for this guy now. From options, message update current deck. So we'll go else if request.message, one or two S's, excuse me, is equal to, what is it, update underscore current deck. Let me check from first though. Request.from is equal to options, and request message is equal to whatever. We'll send a response of success, message CCCSS, and we'll send a message to the foreground script to change the deck. So we'll do a chrome.tabs.send message to the current tab, so active tab ID. What do you want to send? We want to send a message of, we'll do, not message yet, we'll do a from, and this time it's from background, but it's the same message. So from message update current deck, and we need a payload. Payload is going to be equal to request.payload. Did I do that here? Request.payload is just the deck. Perfect. So request payload looks good. Send message, active tab, from background, same message. Payload is the deck that comes in from the options update current deck. Options update current deck. Payload is the deck. So we need to capture this message right here on the foreground. So we need a listener, just like we have a listener here on the foreground. So let me just copy this, Control C. Foreground. We'll mount this in the component will mount. So this, and there we go. So let's do an if request.message from is equal to background, and request.message is equal to change. I said update, right? Say change or set update? Update. Update current deck. Then we'll just do a this.setState of the current deck is equal to the request.payload. And of course, we need to send a response of success to the original sender of the message. We'll just do a message of success, CCCSS. All right, so request from background message update current deck. This.setState current deck is equal to the request.payload. Let's see if this works. So save. Actually, let me copy this and put it in the options for parity. Back up here. Let me do that. Save. Let's build this and then try it. npm run build production. Let's go back here. Let's do Spotify. Just start a song. Open web player. Built. Not yet. 80s. Let's close this. Let's go Hungry Heart, Bruce Springsteen. All right, we'll pause it though. All right, did it build? There we go. Refresh, clear, refresh. Let's go to google.com. What do we got? Bananarama Cruel Summer. Is that what it is on? Oh, I misclicked. Bananarama Cruel Summer. All right, let's go to the options page. Right click options. And let's do this so I can see if it changes on the fly. Left side, right side, right side. This guy. Current deck. And there was an error. What's the error? Underscore direction is not defined. Am I not sending in a direction? / underscore direction. Unload deck. Forgot that. In the foreground though? Foreground, I need load deck here. Load deck? No, we don't. I forgot to include that here as well. Underscore direction. Save. Underscore direction. Let's just make sure we're sending that. It should be in the clicks 0 and 1. Perfect. All right, let's rebuild that and try again. Let's go close this. Go here. Here. This is going to be the, what page was this? This was the options page. Close this. Built. Good. Errors. Clear the errors. Go back here. Refresh. Let's go google.com. Bananarama Cruel Summer. Let's go to the options page. Options, drag you over here. Let's go to this one here. Cyberpunk, perfect. Let's go back to orange. There we go. All right, so the options page is wired up with the foreground page. All that's left to do is, I think it would be the login state, the system, the pop-up. So let's close this down. Let's close this, do this, and I'll just keep that in the background. Let's go here. Let's do this. Options, we don't really, we have to keep parity, but we don't really need it right now. We're just going to deal with the foreground, the background, and the pop-up page. So let's start with, what should we start with? Let's start with this. So when we first log in with the, from the pop-up, we get to log in. When we get the state from the hard drive, as well as if there's something playing. So right here before the success send response, we're just going to do that same. Let me just copy and paste it. We're going to do the same logic tree where we get the state, right here. We get the state, we get the current track, and then we send a response and the fail we need as well, I think. Let's go back up here. So we successfully logged in. We set the timeout. We get the state of the app from the local hard drive, and send response is going to be success. And we need to, okay, there we go. So let's do this. Send response of success, but we need to message the foreground script to say, hey, update your state. So we're just going to do a Chrome. Let me do this, getting way too much on the right there. Chrome.tabs.send message to the AG, to the active tab ID, and the message is going to be, let's say, from background, and then we're going to say, what's the message? Let's say update your state. We'll say update state. Update state. And the payload, no, we're still in there. Payload is just going to be all of that stuff that I just erased, which was ..res .current. There we go. Yeah, it looks much better. What am I missing here? There we go. So we get the state, we get the current song being played, if any, and then we send a message to the foreground saying, from the background, update your state, saved state plus the song. Let me format. Let's go to the foreground and code for this this message. From background, message update state. So right here, and we'll go to the component will mount. So else if the request from is equal to, and it's going to be background, and request.message is equal to update underscore state. We'll send a response to success, and we'll set this .set state to just going to be all of that request.payload, but destructured, so ... Now let's code the login logic with the pop-up. So right here. So in, out, these are going to be needing an on click. So we'll do this. On click is equal to, and we'll call a single function. We'll do sign in out like that. Yeah, we'll do that. All right. And if we want to sign in, we'll just do login. If we want to sign out, we'll do log out. And we'll create a function called sign in out. It takes some sort of action. I don't need that because I don't have two actions there. And we're just going to do a chrome.runtime.send message. And the message is going to be the action. So log in or log out. Action. And we have a response. And if the response.message is equal to success, success. There we go. We'll just do a location.reload. We'll just reload the pop-up page. So we need to go into the back end. Actually, no, we already coded for the login, logout routes. What we need is something to differentiate these, a Boolean. So we'll use the state. We'll do this. A hook, excuse me. Use state. Let's go down here. We'll do a const, and we'll do user underscore status, and we'll set user status equals use state. All right. So every time this pop-up loads, we'll just do a chrome.runtime.send message. We just want to get the user's state, whether or not they're signed in. So do a message. Should we do a from? No, there's no conflicting guys here. We'll just do a message of get user status. And we'll have a response. And if the response is true, so if response.payload, first of all, if response.message is equal to success, equal to success, then we'll do some stuff. Now, if the response.payload is equal to true, we'll just set the user status to true. Else we'll set it to false. Else we will set it to false. And then we'll just do a ternary in here. SE, there we go. Get user status, we need to code this on the back end. You remembered to do that. Response message success, response payload set. Right here, we're just going to do this. So user status is equal to true. We want to show them the log out button. Like that. Else, we show them the sign in button. So user status true, sign out. Else sign in equals use state. Did I do that properly? What else uses state? Loading page, do you use state? Just want to see if I'm using that state thing correctly. Yeah, use state. There's no new keyword. Okay. Actually, no, I just redid that. Use state, use state, use state, use effect, whatever. I think it works. All right, so let's go to the back end and code for this, this get user status. Foreground, foreground, foreground. Where should we do that? If true, get state right here. So else if request.message is equal to get user status. Something to do a send response of. We'll do return true just in case. Forgot that here as well. Just in case. Send response of message success. So success, and the payload is just going to be the user signed in variable. There we go. So user signed in goes back here. If success, good. Payload's true or false. That's good. All right, let's see if this works. I think I'm forgetting one thing. Yes, the if else thing. So right, close right here. So we're going to say else if the, what do we say? The user's not signed in. So not user signed in. We'll do something here. And get rid of this guy here. So we're going to say Chrome. So we want to send a message to the foreground app to display a message to tell the user to log in. So how about we do, what should we do? Let's do this, chrome.tabs.send message. We'll get this out of the way first. What message do you want to send? So active tab ID. How about we send a message of, not like that, message of, we'll do from first. From background, and we'll do a message of, I don't know, we'll just say login. Since we have these two logins, this from background differentiates the two. Login, yeah, that should work. And we'll send a response of fail. So what I did here was anytime, fail, write this. Anytime the user wants to use anything, if they want to log in, they're free to log in. If they want to log out, they're free to log out. If they want to open and close the player, they're free to do that, but they have to log in order to access any of these. So if they try to click play or pause or next track or previous track or get state, set state options, any of these, they'll reach this conditional first. If they're not signed in, we'll send a message to the front end telling the user to log in, and we'll send a response of fail. So if they try and play it, we'll send a response of fail to the original sender of the request, and we'll send a message of login to the foreground, which means we need to code for this guy. So we'll go here and we'll do an else if. So else if the request.from is equal to background, and the request.message is equal to login. Just display it in the ticker. So we'll do this. We'll do a send responsive success first of all. No, not like that. There we go. We'll just do a this.setState, and we'll say the current track is now equal to please log in, ... It reminds me, let me take off the default tracking stuff here. There we go. Please log in, and we don't want any sort of is playing, so a paused state. So is playing false. There we go. And we do a proper semicolon there. All right, that was a lot of lines of code. Let's see if this thing works. So let's do this. Let's get rid of the hard-coded access token. Delete, delete, save. Let's go to foreground. Let me just parody this. So let's go here. Control copy. Let's go, not pop-up, excuse me. Let's go to options. Go all the way down here. Let's delete all of this. Let's do Control V. Save. Let's build this thing. Save, save, save. npm run build production. On what song am I on? Cruel Summer Bananarama. All right, let's go to the browser. Let's refresh the extension. Let's do this. Google.com. And let's open the browser. Please log in. That's good. Because normally it would show me the Cruel Summer Bananarama, so it's not on the component will mount right here. It wants to get state, but when it comes to the get state route, since I'm not logged in, it gets trapped by this conditional right here instead of passing through to here. So that looks like it's working. Let's sign in. So left click. Let's sign in. And nothing's happening. Why? Let's do an inspect. Console, no error. Let's go extension, background. Why isn't anything working like this? Log in, sign out. Chrome, right here. Send message, message is the action. Response, let's go to background. Let's see if we're getting this message. You know what's happening? Right here, where is it? From pop-up. I missed that. So it should be from pop-up, not just the message. So from pop-up. All right, let's rebuild this and try it again. Home stretch, npm run build production. You can get rid of this page here. Let's go to a different song. What do I want to listen to? Let's do this just a bit. Actually, I don't know if it's going to capture on the recording device, so I'll keep that off. Whatever. Fleetwood Mac. Yeah. All right, let's go back. Built. All right, let's do refresh. Let me get rid of this error. Refresh. Let's go back to Google. There we go. Please log in. Let's log in. Sign in. Let's do an agree. There we go. Little lies. And we have the location.replace. Now something was off here when I did this, which I need to share with you guys. Let's do an F5 of this. So notice this. Let me scroll down. Nope, still not doing it. Let me do this. Scroll down. There was a bit of a bug that I saw. Let me go. Let's do this. There we go. See how that's not sticking to the bottom? When you do the difference between a developer and a production environment, you have to change the CSS. And so we go into the foreground right here, foreground styles. We're doing just on the ReactJS server. This is okay. This top 50, left 50 translate. When you're going into production as an actual Chrome extension, you just want to anchor to the bottom. So we're just going to do this and take all these off and just bottom 0. So let's rebuild and see what we get. npm run build production. And we'll do a fresh install of the app. So let me just remove it there. Okay, let me close this. And let me just do this for parity. I don't know, I can't remember if I changed the foreground a whole lot. Just in case, let me just do this. Copy all of this. Go to the options. Delete all of that. And then we can do away with it. So Control V. Save, close that. All right, let's load the extension. Load unpacked. We do select folder, and that was on Google's page with that. Let's see if it anchors to the bottom now. There we go, fixed. All right, let's, I don't know the state of the player. Log in, you have to log in. What song are we on? Fleetwood Mac. Dancing on the Ceiling, Lionel Richie. Let's do this. Let's sign in here. Agree. There we go. Let's sign out. Please log in. Let's go play, log in next. No, let's log in again. Log in. All right, there we go. Let's pause. Let's go next. Let's go next. Let's go next. Should be dance hall days if I go previous. Pause. Close. Actually, let's do this. It's open. Let's close this. Close this. Let's go to a new player instance, and it should be open. There we go. But it doesn't have the song. Let's see if we can fix that bug. Actually, there's no bug because we closed the Spotify player, so it's working perfectly. All right. That was a long series of videos, but I hope this was very educational for you guys to create a whole ReactJS app and then have it fused in or merged with a Chrome extension. Now, there are quite a few bugs with this. This is just version 0.1.0. I didn't want to go too ham on this and make a fully ready for production, ready for sale app just for a tutorial. So there are bugs with this. I've noted them. I'll have them in the link in the description if you guys want to fix them. Or I'll fix them in a future video with version 0.1.2, so 1.1, some sort of patch. Then we can do that together, or you guys can do it on your own. Anyways, leave a like if this video helped you at all. Subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. And I will see you guys in the next video. What that's going to be, I don't know. And just to end off, if you have no idea, I don't know if you're watching these videos out of order. Maybe you watch this video without watching the previous ones. If you don't know what Chrome extensions are and you understand JavaScript, I have a video. I'll leave all links in the description. But I have a tutorial video explaining how Chrome extensions work. If you have no JavaScript web development background, then I should have, it should be out after this course. So I have a paid course coming out soon that explains Chrome extensions to people who have no idea what JavaScript, web development, objects, all this promises, all this stuff is. So look out for that in the description. And if you don't know what ReactJS with Chrome extensions are, and you for some reason watch this video, I have a free video on my YouTube page and other video upload services I have detailing how this whole stuff works. Anyways, leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already subscribed, and I will see you guys in the next one.